The crowd buzzed with excitement inside the massive America's Got Talent hall. Lights flashed, cameras panned across faces filled with anticipation, and the judges sat ready for another round of auditions. Simon Cowell adjusted his microphone, casually sipping from his cup, while Heidi and Sophia shared a light laugh. The energy was electric, but none of them knew that what was coming next would silence the entire room. A young man walked slowly onto the stage. His clothes were plain, slightly oversized, and his hair unkempt. He looked nervous, his hands trembling as he clutched the microphone stand. You could feel the uncertainty radiating from him. A few people in the audience exchanged glances, whispering and even chuckling softly. He didn't look like the kind of person who'd blow them away, and that was exactly what everyone assumed. Simon leaned forward slightly, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "Hello there," he said. "What's your name?" The contestant cleared his throat. My name's Ethan." His voice cracked slightly. I've always loved singing, but honestly, I've never really had the courage to perform like this before." Sophia smiled kindly. "Why not? You have a beautiful chance here tonight." Ethan hesitated, his eyes darting down to the floor. "Because most people don't take me seriously," he admitted softly. "They look at me and, well, they laugh before they hear me. But tonight, I just want to show who I really am." The audience quieted down a little. His honesty struck a chord. Simon gave a small nod. "All right, Ethan, take a deep breath. The stage is yours." The music began. A slow piano melody filled the arena. Ethan's hand shook slightly as he lifted the mic. For a brief moment, he stood frozen, staring out at thousands of eyes. You could almost feel his fear pressing down on him. Then, he closed his eyes and sang. The first note that came out was pure, powerful, and heartbreakingly beautiful. The transformation was instant. The audience gasped, and even Simon's eyes widened. The same people who'd been smirking seconds earlier now sat in stunned silence. His voice carried emotion so raw that it felt like time itself had paused. He sang a soulful ballad, his tone deep and filled with longing. The lyrics spoke about not being judged by appearances, about finding your worth when no one else sees it. As his voice soared higher, the camera zoomed in on the judges' faces, shock, admiration, and awe. Heidi turned to Simon with a smile of disbelief. "Where did that come from?" she whispered. Simon didn't reply. He just leaned forward, eyes fixed on Ethan, completely mesmerized. Ethan's confidence began to grow with every verse. His body straightened, his voice steadied, and you could see the passion radiating from him. The crowd that once doubted him was now cheering between lines, clapping along softly. The energy in the room shifted. It wasn't pity anymore. It was pure respect. Halfway through the song, Ethan hit a note so high and emotional that the audience erupted into applause. Sophia put a hand to her chest, visibly moved. "Oh my God," she whispered. The music swelled as he sang the bridge, a powerful message about how true beauty lies in the soul, not the skin. The camera panned to the audience, and you could see people wiping tears from their eyes. Even Simon, known for his tough exterior, had a faint, approving smile on his face. And then came the final note. Ethan held it, long, clear, and filled with every ounce of emotion he had left in him. The music faded, but his voice lingered in the air like a memory. When the song ended, there was a brief silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Then, the explosion. The entire hall burst into applause. The crowd stood to their feet, clapping, shouting, cheering. The judges rose too, giving him a standing ovation. Ethan stood frozen, eyes wide, tears streaming down his cheeks. He couldn't believe what was happening. Simon leaned into his microphone, smiling now. "Ethan," he said softly, "I think everyone in this room owes you an apology." The crowd cheered louder. "You walked out here thinking people might laugh at you, but instead you just gave one of the most honest, powerful performances we've seen in a long time." Heidi nodded. "You have such a special voice," she said. "It's not just talent, it's heart. You sang from a place of truth." Sophia added, "You reminded everyone not to judge. That's the beauty of this show." Ethan covered his face, overcome by emotion. The crowd began chanting, "Golden buzzer! Golden buzzer!" The energy in the room built up again, louder and louder. Simon looked down the panel, then turned back to Ethan. He paused for a long moment, his eyes full of thought. Then, without another word, He slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti burst from above, raining down like magic. The audience screamed, cheering as Ethan fell to his knees, sobbing with joy. His dream had just come true in the most unexpected, emotional way possible. Simon stood and walked toward the stage as the confetti fell around them. He reached out and shook Ethan's hand. "You see," he said gently, "it's never about what people think when they see you. It's about what they feel when they hear you. And right now we all felt something incredible." Ethan couldn't stop crying. He looked out at the cheering crowd, the same faces that had once doubted him now cheering his name. He mouthed the words "thank you" again and again, his voice lost in the music and the noise of the celebration. In that moment, under the falling gold lights, everything changed. He wasn't the boy people laughed at anymore. He wasn't the insecure singer afraid to take the stage. He was a star, someone who had just proven that real talent comes from the heart, not from appearances. The camera zoomed out as the crowd continued to cheer. Simon gave a proud nod to the other judges who were still clapping with wide smiles. Heidi looked emotional, brushing a tear from her cheek. Sophia turned to the camera and said softly, "That's why we love this show. Moments like this." As the music swelled again, the narrator's voice came in over the scene, deep and emotional. "Sometimes the world judges too quickly. We see someone and decide who they are before they even get a chance to speak. But when that person dares to step forward, when they let their true self be heard, everything changes." Ethan didn't just sing a song tonight. He broke through every doubt, every laugh, every fear, and showed the world the voice of a soul that refused to be silenced. The confetti continued to fall, glimmering under the spotlights. Ethan looked up, his face glowing with pride and disbelief. The audience's roar echoed across the hall. Simon turned back toward his seat, smiling faintly, and said under his breath, "That's what this show is all about." The lights dimmed slightly as Ethan waved one last time to the audience, still overwhelmed with tears. As he walked off stage, one of the producers patted him on the back and said, "You just changed your life, kid." And he had, because in one song, one brave moment, he went from being the man people laughed at to the voice everyone would remember.